What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com and FightfulWrestling.com. It is March 11th. It is time for the Fightful.com post WWE Fastlane podcast. Now, if you guys missed out last week, I started doing the NXT review shows. That was go about a half an hour covering some 205 Live things here and there. Also, I did a Ring of Honor 16th anniversary post show. That is up on the site as well. Did match reviews and match ratings for that. As I did for this WWE Fastlane show, my match ratings and podcast notes are up there as well. So head over to Fightful.com because we have a ton of stuff coming to you, and especially in the coming weeks. Interviews every week, new podcasts every week, exclusives every week, and I have that Fightful Wrestling Weekly every Friday with about 1,000 words worth of exclusive info. Check out our friends over at livingsharp.com who sponsored this show, a gift idea for any occasion, and I'm talking creative gift ideas. There's something at every price range for almost for every emotion that you want to garner, whether it's happiness. You could even make somebody a little bit sad over there as well. We are a little bit sad to let you know that Anna's going to take some time off from the show. However, even though she's doing that, I already have 3 alternate commentaries with her in the can. So, Alex, she can't escape, as you know all too well.
I've been trying to escape.
You all try to hit me with that Brock Lesnar schedule.
That's right. That's true. I am definitely a lazy part-timer. But loving that schedule. I'm sad to not have Anna as part of our triple threat on the pay-per-view post-pod, but I can't wait for her to be back. I know she's doing a lot of great things with EBW Perth down there with all them Aussies, and I wish her Godspeed and return to us soon because I miss her already.
Well, she does have. We have 3 alternate commentaries coming up for WrestleMania season. Now that WrestleMania season is upon us, we will release those in the coming weeks. We have Hogan versus Warrior for WrestleMania 6, which was Anna's pick, actually. And then a couple that I picked out in the Hardcore Battle Royal in WrestleMania 2000, and Raven versus Kane versus Big Show. So one was particularly short, 15 to 20 minutes, but it's a lot of fun to go back and watch. Also, guys, we will have some premium content for you guys in the coming weeks as well. So keep your eyes on that, as well as all the other cool stuff at Fightful.com. And Anna will be back with us eventually. She's great to have. And, of course, we always look to have a female voice on the show for that type of perspective and stuff. So we're going to talk to some people and have some stuff going on. But WWE Fastlane is upon us. This show, I thought the main event really delivered. I thought the women's match was above average as well. What did you think of the show as a whole, Alex?
SmackDown has been so bad. Like the show, the brand has been just awful, and you can't let that seep into your expectations for a pay-per-view because all these guys and women who are on SmackDown, they have enough pride and ability to go out there and take it as a challenge. Everyone's thinking this show's going to suck. Let's go out there and prove that we're better than the material we're being given to work with. Because in the ring, we control what that is. The storylines we're being given to work with, the terrible promos that are being written for us, that's stuff we can't control. In the ring, let's control that tonight. And everybody went out there and did their damnedest. And, if you weren't watching the past few months of terrible builds for this show, if you were just like in 10 years, you're on the network and you're just watching all the pay-per-views in order in this 2017, 2018 thing, you wouldn't know how bad the build has been. You just get to Fastlane 2018 and you watch it and go, hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. There was some damn good work in there. But you wouldn't know how terrible the build has been for a lot of these matches.
I don't think there were any bad matches on this show.
True.
Like no flat out bad matches. There were some matches that went a little longer than they should have, but
yeah.
But other than that, we kicked off the show with Ty Dillinger and the Fashion Police defeating Mojo Rawley and Training Day. As I saw this, I was like, you don't ever think of Mojo Rawley being paired with Gable and Benjamin. And then you sit there and think about it and you're like, wow, he would be one hell of a mouthpiece for these guys, Alex.
He's perfect to be a part of them. If there was a trios championship involved in WWE, these three guys would be great for it because Mojo's perfect. He's the most hyped of the three of them. And as far as like your training day name for these guys, who trains more than Mojo? Like he's always like, he's like, if I have a couple of days off, I'm flying to Orlando to go to the Performance Center to do box jumps for 12 hours straight. Like he's a maniac. He's hooking up like crazy like ox harnesses to his body and throwing the entire weight rack on a sled and just pulling it places. Like he's a nut. And it's great. Like when you actually serious Mojo, not bright yellow tights and neon stuff on the ramp and this way too happy music. Like get rid of all that crap and get him in a singlet and watch that guy be super serious athlete, dude. I think it would work. And this match, when they announced it, I didn't know what was happening until I was watching it on the pre-show. And they said, hey, by the way, in 20 minutes, we're going to have this thing. And I was like, this is immediately the third most important match of the night for me. Like, I'm looking forward to this. So because all the people in this match, I want to see them work. And the match over-delivered in my part. And they actually gave a good reason for the match to be taking place. Like they had this confrontation backstage and Ty Dillinger challenged him to a match. That's all I need because so many of these like little pay-per-views where they're like, we don't have nothing for the pre-show. What's Breezango doing? Put them in something. Like it's better than that if you give them actually a reason to do something.
Yeah, this match was fine. Breeze trolls Gable, who was giving him the opportunity to start from rest position. You can't wrestle chants for Mojo. We haven't heard those in a while on WWE
that
TV.
Was weird. And his response to it was weird too, both in the ring and on Twitter. Like, I don't care if I can't wrestle. I'm a fighter. Like, all right, but you're a wrestler though. Yeah. So you might fight, but you're also a wrestler. There was this one spot that I loved, which was Breeze selling a monkey flip from Gable by doing the full front flip face bump. I'm like, this is why you got to get Breezango on the show more.
Oh, I'm waiting until Ricochet shows up and he takes it and does another and he lands on his back.
Yeah. I love Breezango. I think they're a totally lovable babyface team who are bulletproof in that you don't really expect them to win. You know, like a team like Breezango could work the Revival for 2 months and get the Revival over huge as heels because they would just beat up Breezango, who everybody loves. There's a lot of things. There's so many great tag teams on SmackDown and so few on Raw, at least so few that are allowed to be great. Like that's the one place where SmackDown beats Raw, like with a rented mule. They're so much better in the tag division. And I would like to see a little shakeup after Mania.
Oh, so would I. Ty Dillinger gets a nice hot tag. He eventually gets the win over Mojo. And this is the guy that they had to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal over Braun Strowman. There you go.
Yeah, no, it was for a Grunk pop. They did the whole thing for a Grunk pop. Now, hey, Grunk might retire from to pour one out for Anna Bauer.
It could be that could be the Ronda Rousey ice bucket challenge of Gronk's career that launched it all.
It could be in the words of Anna Bauer, Gronskrotsky or whatever. Sports Lord Anna Bauer.
That's really what she's doing. She's going to try to get into the sports game.
She is. She's trying to get the sports.
I got her ego too big.
She knows all about the sports. I still think that was a curious decision, particularly because they had him turn on Ryder and gave him this little mini monster push, and now he's in the pre-show losing to a guy who can't get on TV. Like I don't know what they do with these guys. The booking decisions around so many of their mid-carders just baffle me.
I was surprised that they thought booking Nakamura against the most over guy, at least based on verbal reaction on the roster, was a good idea, but the match was very, very good.
Yeah.
Aiden English raps his intro for Rusev. How'd you feel about that?
That was fine. It was fun. I mean, this and the whole thing is that these guys are having fun, and the fun they are having is contagious, and so they're getting people to cheer for them. But that's not in the plans for WWE. So we better punish Rusev for becoming popular by booking him to lose to another popular guy who we have a lot of plans for.
I don't think that was punishment. I think that was more confidence than anything. Have you ever seen the movie Role Models?
I've heard of it, never seen it.
And I can't unleash the reference on you. We get some really slow work out of the gate. Rusev powders out. Then Nakamura out of nowhere pulls a nice heel hook. And Rusev responds with the gunslinger, the swinging side slam that looked really, really good. This is a more methodical pace, but it was hard hitting. It had the feel of an NXT Nakamura match. Like, not quite New Japan level that we'll likely get out of the AJ Styles match, but it was a little bit different than what we've seen on the main roster. Rusev hits a pop-up knee, follow-away slam, and a big, big kick to get two. And then Rusev gets the Machka kick, and it is picture perfect. It hits well. It's crisp. Nakamura sells it like $1 million. It wasn't going to finish anything. But, wow, that was the highlight of the match, I thought.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. It's one of those things where you watch that and you go, okay, if this is at all supposed to be real, there's no way you're kicking out of that if you sold it like that. And it's one of those things where this is one of the points where I'm watching going, okay, I knew Shinsuke Nakamura was winning this match going in. This is one of my pet peeves around the Royal Rumble winner. If he wins, he's got a guaranteed shot at Mania. And the way they book this guy is that since the Royal Rumble, like, he's rarely ever on TV. He's rarely ever wrestling because they have to keep him protected because Lord knows he can't lose any matches. So then book him to win matches. But you don't necessarily have to do that at the expense of one of your big fan favorites who got over entirely organically through no work of your own. He, just because he's lovable, got the crowd to love him. And so you don't have to necessarily keep Nakamura strong by weakening this other guy who got himself strong by himself. That's one of my pet peeves and will always remain so.
Nakamura crawls out of an accolade attempt and hits a couple of real nice Kinshasas. And I'm not a big fan of the Kinshasa. One, I just don't think they look as good as the other ones that he used to do in New Japan. And, I mean, maybe that's because he doesn't want to take the bump every night. I don't know. But, I mean, if you're on TV on pay-per-view, go ahead and do it. Maybe it's something that he was told. Also, I think there's an injury risk in doing that. Like, that can't be easy on your body. This was a lot of fun. This match didn't mean a damn thing. And it had the Rumble winner and a Mania main eventer against a guy that never wins, and they still had the crowd on fire. So that speaks volumes about where these two guys are and the level of talent they had in the ring. And I thought this was one of Nakamura's best main roster matches that I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, because Rusev is great. And Rusev is going to give you a great match within that. Like, there are so many things where Rusev is going to make a guy like Nakamura look small, look light, and then you can have a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura fight from underneath. Not necessarily with like, oh, you're going to work my knee for 20 minutes and then I'm going to hit you with my knee to win. Just by like being thrown around by a dude who's much bigger than him, getting kicked in the face while I'm running at him. Like, those are great ways to make Shinsuke Nakamura look like he might lose this match, even though anyone who watches WWE for more than 5 minutes knows there's no way Shinsuke Nakamura is losing this match. But it's still important to get that feeling, even for half a second, in the back of your head.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. WWE United States Championship. Randy Orton defeated Bobby Roode to become the new United States champion, one of the only titles that eluded him. To explain how this one started, there was a Byron Saxton chant.
Mm-hmm.
That's about how this one went. It went exactly how the Orton-Roode match has always went in my nightmares.
Yeah.
Very slow-paced, no heat until a glorious chant and a DDT reversal. Roode gets sent outside and backdropped on the guardrail. Back inside the ring, Roode sunset flips, but kind of holds it there. It's not like your traditional power bomb. Walks Orton into the middle of the ring, power bombs him. A superplex hits for Randy Orton, and it's a real good one. The crowd doesn't seem to care, though. Then a nice Roode spine buster, but he hits an RKO out of nowhere, and Orton is your new U.S. champion. This went about 20 minutes, and I was surprised Orton won, because I thought it would be a schmoz ending, but given what we saw later, you see why it wasn't a schmoz ending, because we already had one in a title match. But This was 70s, 80s style wrestling. Did it click for you?
No. This was my least favorite match of the night. I mean, yeah, this is what it was going to be when I heard that Roode and Orton were going to feud over this title. I know you're a fan of babyface Bobby Roode. I am not.
I'm not anymore. Not now.
Well, you were at the time when I was.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, when he first came up, and I think he's just a natural jerk, and so like his character, it just feels like that. This guy is like, I mean, he's kind of a dick, isn't he? And that's enough to make me go, I don't want to watch him win. And I definitely don't want to watch Randy Orton win. Like, he's my least favorite wrestler in the world right now. I mean, I used to like the guy in that. Yeah, a fun out of nowhere RKO is fine. By the way, the RKO tonight was not out of nowhere. It was obvious that it was going to happen as Roode climbed the turnbuckle.
Now they have Corbin, they have Roode, they have Mahal, they have Mojo Rawley, all who wrestle the same methodical, simple type of thing, to the point to where Roode has switched it up and like he's done the blockbuster a bunch, and he started to do sunset flip power bombs to set himself apart. I'll give him the credit of where he's trying to adapt and change and increase his repertoire and stuff like that. This just didn't connect to get above average for me. And this is going to be somebody's cup of tea. Right. I know that a lot of people are going to like this style of match. For me, these days, it's just not my style of match that I want to watch.
Now, I could watch either of these guys go against somebody that's quicker paced, not necessarily high flying, but just quicker paced and does more stuff. But just watching one guy try to go for a DDT, but that's reversed, and try to go for an RKO, but that's reversed, and shoot him off into the ropes. Anytime you're shooting off somebody into the ropes, I that's not a thing for me. This was okay. I mean, for what it was. I mean, if you're gonna listen, do I think Randy Orton deserves to get the Grand Slam before he retires? Absolutely. The guy's a legend. Like, I mean, not anymore in my book, but certainly his longevity of his career and the stuff he was doing when he was younger, absolutely. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let's put the belt on him. Putting the belt on him to rehash in any way his feud with Jinder Mahal is my nightmare.
Yeah, those burned the house down, didn't they?
Oh, God.
And I'm not talking about the usual way that Randy Orton burns houses down, but
yeah, in the pre-show, Jinder Mahal came to the desk, and Sam Roberts asked him, "Well, which of these two guys would you prefer to win, so that you could take them on?" Face, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Which would they prefer to win, so that you would go on? And I was surprised. Jinder said, like, I want Randy Orton to win because I beat Randy Orton over and over and over again for months.
That was smart heel. That was a smart heel promo.
But the thing is, he didn't say that. He was like, I don't care. I'm like, come on, Jinder.
Exactly.
Just go out and actually, say that you can beat Randy Orton anytime, any place. Because as we saw, you can with the aid of a giant lumbering old Indian man who climbs halfway up cages.
Yeah. Yikes. I would sign James Storm yesterday and put him back with Roode.
Yeah.
But that ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Carmela and Natalya defeated Becky Lynch and Naomi. This was a pretty solid match as well. Carmela is missing James Ellsworth. He was an important part of this act. Becky hit a leg drop from the top, and there was just no give to the ring. I saw that, and like Becky bounced a little bit, but the ring didn't. And I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. Like, that's just that looks painful. The old Alabama jam. Carmela, I noticed, has some lazy pins, doesn't hook the leg and stuff like that. When I've had catch wrestlers double leg pinning me with their weight on my spine like half my life, I see this and I'm like, that's frustrating. And when you see, I'll bring it up later on, Ruby Riott is the complete opposite. Every time she pins somebody, she looks like she really, like, in her mind, she's like, hope they don't kick out of this, even if they're supposed to. But that's just one pet peeve with Carmela. Loved the spot where Naomi went for the split-legged moonsault and got stopped by Carmela. Then Natalya pulled her out into a running powerbomb. Eventually, Becky ends up on the wrong end of a stratosphere by Carmela and walks into a super kick. And you know what? Honestly, as good as that Nakamura-Rusev kick was earlier, this one wasn't far behind it. Becky can sell the hell out of this kick. Carmela can throw the hell out of it. It was great. Carmela wins. How'd you feel?
The in-ring work was fine. I've been just wondering the whole thing with Carmela and how she didn't have a match since what, October or something until recently.
She went from October until March between singles matches.
Okay, so you decide let's have the first ever women's Money in the Bank match, and some people don't agree with this, but you have a man win it. Then you do it over again and let the woman actually get up there and win. It's the same woman. Give it to Carmela. Okay, hey, cool. I think she's unnatural to have this briefcase. She could lord it over people, threaten to use it over and over and over again. Let's give her a big push. But between June and October, they did some of that. Then in October, she basically disappeared. And now you're getting toward Mania, and Mania is like there's only 3 months after Mania before June again, and she can't have the Money in the Bank Money Back briefcase for more than a calendar year. She's got to use it eventually, and it looks like all signs point to her cashing in and failing. The same way the dude.
Well, I don't want to say all signs point to that. One person reported that.
I'm saying that if you have Asuka and Charlotte on SmackDown, which we'll talk about in a second, I don't think you're going to book Carmela to cash in and go over either one of them. I just don't think you're going to do it. I don't think they will do that. So that's why I'm saying all signs in my head point to that, which means you had Baron Corbin win the men's Money in the Bank match and then fail his cash in, and you had Carmela win the Money in the Bank and then fail her cash in, which doesn't look like you. Looks like you said, hey, these are our two people, and then said, nah, just kidding, they're not. We don't know what to do with them. We're not going to use them. And that doesn't look very good to your long-term planning. I would love to see Carmela get a chance to actually cash in and get a small, short title run, because I think she's a lot of fun, and she's improving in the ring. The big thing I take away from this is that I don't like what they're doing with Becky. Becky is a superstar in the ring, and she should be way up near the top of the SmackDown Women's Division. Or, gosh, put her on Raw. Let her face Charlotte. Let her face Sasha and Bayley and Alexa again. Let her face Nia Jax in an amazing feud. Like, she's just treading water over here, and she's so much better than that.
Well, Carmela, I wouldn't be surprised if she did cash in and lose, because, I mean, that's kind of been her whole thing, is that she wins by hook or crook, or James Ellsworth, who is not there anymore.
Right.
We'll see. I thought this match wasn't too bad. Usos versus the New Day SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos steal several New Day moves, including the Boom Drop and the Midnight Hour. The New Day steal the Usos Splash. Everyone takes a big dive to the outside rather early in this match, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The Bludgeon Brothers come out and attack everyone. I'm talking black hole slam on the floor, double suplex onto the floor, overhead throw, a cross body press. Then there's this, it's like a mini collider. It's not a super collider.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, well, they maybe shouldn't do that. If you got on NXT and you got guys powerbomb lifting people into the collider and powerbombing them onto each other, why do you want to do the generic version of that? Like, it just...
Because it's safer. Because they did that once and nearly killed the dude. So, you know? So maybe if you're trying to make sure everybody can make it to Mania okay, you might be safer. Except there's this one thing they did later, which might have almost killed a guy.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So one of the Usos is sent into the crowd with a hammer, and Xavier gets powerbombed onto the stairs. Later, they said that he has a, quote, thoracic spine contusion. Now, he may be hurt, but that's a little early to diagnose such. I can tell you, as a guy who's had some spinal issues in my life, spinal. I hope Xavier's okay, because his head looked like it hit. Unfortunately, couldn't get a real good look at it because the camera cut away immediately. Like, why are they taking the bumps on this?
Yeah,
if the camera's not going to get it
right. Then later, they were like, when they announced the thoracic spinal contusion, they said, "Oh, watch this. And then they showed a clip, and they deliberately stopped it as he was halfway toward hitting the ground, and they cut away from it. So like they didn't show you the actual moment of impact, because to me it looked like the back of his head snapped back and hit the corner of the steps. Like it was just the absolute wrong place to put him down, because of when if it goes down and hits flush with the steel, it's hollow. It might be okay. If he snaps all the way back and doesn't hit anything, fine. But like the corner, like right on your external occipital protuberance, as the great Gorilla Monsoon used to refer to it. Yeah, that didn't look good. But hey, now we know who the two guys from the New Day are going to be facing them at Mania, because I think they're probably going to write off Xavier Woods and get him out in that way. I think that was always the plan, and they were going to have Kofi and Big E versus the Usos versus Harper and Rowan. As ridiculous as I think the Bludgeon Brothers are, Harper and Rowan are not ridiculous. No. Like when they're at the top of their game, they're really, really good. And they had a match with the Shield a long time ago, and with the Usos. Like these guys can really go when they're healthy. So this triple threat, as much as we're like, hey, another triple threat at WrestleMania, this one is one I want to see, because the New Day and the Usos have been so great for so many months. And adding Harper and Roode at the top of their games, that's it. I'm all about this.
Well, I want to make it clear I'm not reporting any storyline news. I don't often do that because the risk versus reward in doing that isn't that high. I know it's cliche to say plans change, but they do a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
They do a lot. So I just flat out don't report a lot of storyline news because there's not a lot of reward with the risk. But I would, if they made this the ladder match, I'd be stoked for that. I would be stoked for that. And then you could get maybe a returning Xavier Woods involved because it's a ladder match, you know, akin to the way that Rhino and Spike Dudley and Lita did back in the day.
Sure.
And you have other tag teams that could get involved in this as well. But the Usos got to be on that main card. They have to be on the main card after the promo they cut about this. They have to be on the main card.
If you have the Usos versus the New Day versus Harper and Rowan, they're on the main card. They just are. Like that's the marquee tag team match of WrestleMania. No offense to Stephanie, but the marquee tag team match is going to be these three teams. Again, assuming they put them in a triple threat match. I don't think. I mean, at this point, we don't know what the bar is doing, but I don't care who they're facing. It's not bigger than this triple threat.
Yeah, I would agree, unless they pull some big rabbit out of the hat or something of that nature.
I guess.
SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte defeated Ruby Riott to retain her championship. There was the spot early that I really liked. Riott grabbed a rear naked choke, and they both tumbled to the outside. Charlotte ran Riott into the guardrail. The Riott kick lands just a couple minutes into the match after a distraction from the Riott squad, but Charlotte kicks out. Logan and Morgan try to get involved again, but Becky and Naomi come out to even the odds. Riott applies a nice straight jacket hold that Charlotte sells really, really well. The expression on her face was excellent. Charlotte returns the favor with a nice rope-hung neck breaker that I thought looked good. Charlotte got pushed from the top rope to the outside, and anytime I see that, I worry, man, hope the knees are okay, because that's nasty. Then we saw one of the slowest suicide dives this side of Dean Ambrose. Ruby Riott needs to not do that again. Or at least if she does, just maybe not. Just prepare to not be caught.
Right.
Because that's why she slowed down.
I saw her in many times in NXT back when I really liked Ruby Riott. I've seen her hit that on many people. When she goes full bore through the ropes, it looks really good. But I think she thought, I don't think Charlotte's ready for me. I better slow this up. Like, it was one of those things where she was just unsure of her partner's participation in the spot for a split second and had to slow up. But yeah, it did not wind up looking good.
Yeah, it looked straight duty. Then she's caught, rewarded accordingly with an exploder suplex into the guardrail. That looked awesome. Then Charlotte hit a moonsault press off the rails. And I thought that fit very well. I'm glad that she started to do those against people that are standing up. She has for a while, but she used to try on grounded opponents, and the moonsault just didn't look good. She has adjusted it to where it does because, I mean, she's used to landing on her feet.
Yeah.
So just go with it. Just go with it. I thought it looked really good. A super Frankensteiner in the ring for Riott that also looked really good. And like I said, after this, Ruby Riott pins like she means it. Like, even though this is the work, she wants to pin that person. She doesn't want them to kick out. I love the double leg pin, all the weight on the upper half of the body. That is a hell of a pin. Hats off, Ruby Riott. I see you. Charlotte starts lighting up Riott with some chops, and around this time, Charlotte and Riott fall off the same page and out of the same book because Riott like messes up a spot where she's waiting for a chop. Then there's this weird spot that sends Riott into the second rope, and I don't know what it is, but she had to do like a complete revolution and fall on the second rope. What do you think was supposed to happen there?
I think
it was the little neck breaker over the knee, and then
that was
back.
Weird.
But
I thought you were talking about the reverse Alabama slam thing onto the top.
No, that looked great.
Yeah, that looked fine. This match they were a little off in certain spaces. That suicide dive spot, and then this weird neck breakery thing. But on the whole, I thought the match did a lot to further Ruby Riott's inclusion at the top of the division.
Yeah, and this whole thing has been about her anyway. The debut of the Riott Squad. I'm still just sitting here wondering, why did you bring Logan and Morgan in? What have they done with Morgan? Nothing. She could have helped on NXT. And as I've mentioned before, Sarah Logan is on SmackDown because Road Dogg saw her cut a promo on the Mae Young Classic and said, "Oh, I need her. I got to have her." And then the reason that they brought her up was because of that promo. They gave her a couple promos, and they're like, not that great. I mean, not great that we're going to send you back to NXT where you probably should be. But,
yeah,
I will scream it from the rooftops. She should be an NXT managing War Machine. That should be her deal. Should have always been. Belly to back suplex and a big boot start a great series where Riott pulls Charlotte into a small package, and then Charlotte gets a reverse Alabama slam into the buckles. I love that spot. That was really great. The figure 8 finishes Riott off. This was a solid match. If, like, on my match ratings, I start at 5 and the rating either slides up or down the scale from there, I would have had this at over a 7, which is what I consider a really good match, if they just wouldn't have been off the page the 3 or 4 different times. But other than that, I thought it was an above average match, and I thought that both women in the future, I would love to see this ran back like way down the line. I'm not talking like SmackDown or anything, which is what they're probably going to do, but I thought they worked well together outside of those spots.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I was a huge Ruby Riott fan when she was in NXT, like huge. I loved that she was this counterculture babyface, all tatted up and punk rock. And they didn't make her into like the whole, you see, you're all just a poser, man. And I was like, oh, she's really true. She's true to herself.
Yeah. And
people really loved her in NXT. And they brought her up. And the first thing main roster does was like, no, see, you're like against the system, right? So like you hate the regular people, right? So you should like call them, they're like fakers and posers, and you get everything handed to you. Like you should do that, because that's the way people who look like you talk and think. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. And it so rarely is the opposite of that stereotype that you can get over as a babyface by just being this person who's a great fighter and happens to have tattoos all over her body, as opposed to, I'm tatted up because I hate the man, like whatever. Okay. So
then they ran it right there on Tuesday.
Yeah,
they went there.
Right there.
And she's made for the main roster. The way she can deliver promos, the way that she works. She is a woman that the main roster would like and would need.
She made her NXT TV debut on March 22nd of 2017. She made her WWE main roster pay-per-view singles women's title match debut on March 11th of 2018. That's less than a year. That's a major deal and shows that they have a lot of confidence in her, and they think she has a lot of potential. What doesn't show that they have confidence in her and her potential is that they brought her up and made her this total stereotype heel, who hates the man, and gave her bad promos to do. Like, let her be herself and let her go in the ring. She proved it tonight. She was healing it up great though. Like, I love when Becky and Naomi are on the outside. She's got Charlotte in that straitjacket, and she's like, "Look at them! Look at your friends! They're gonna watch you fail." Like, that's good healing. I like that. You're like, you can give them that. That's good. But some of these canned promos are just not helping her out on the main roster.
She's got the delivery down. It's what we always say. It's the subject matter they're given. Like, I hear Naomi speak as her all the time, and like, man, that's somebody I can get behind. That's somebody that I'm interested in. And then I hear her have to recite these lines, and she's just not good at that. That's as much as they have to act, they're not actors all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work like that. Doesn't always work like that. After this, Asuka's music hits. Asuka comes out to the ring, doesn't say a word, points at the sign. Between Asuka's body language and Charlotte's body language, which Charlotte, without saying anything, ready for it. The heat from the crowd was just, ooh. It was good. This is going to be a good one. Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. These two girls are going to tear the house down, Alex.
Oh, yeah, no, this is what I'm really looking forward to, without reporting anything, what I hope to be, what should be 3 women's singles matches at Mania, each one of them trying to outdo the other. Do I think Alexa and Nia, if that is what happens on Raw, has any prayer of topping Sasha Bailey and this? No. But do I think they're going to try? Yeah. And that's always good. But Sasha Bailey and Charlotte Asuka on the same card, you could talk me into those being the 2 best singles matches on the card. Because, listen, I loved the match that AJ and Nakamura had. We're going to talk about this later. Had at Wrestle Kingdom. Do I think the WWE is going to let them do that kind of stuff? No, I don't. I think it's going to be WWE-ified. I want to be proven wrong. Prove me wrong, WWE. But I'm not necessarily sold on that being as great as some people are thinking it's going to be. But Asuka and Charlotte in WWE style, I feel like can do a really, really great match. And I was talking about this to somebody on Twitter. At this point, I'm fully expecting Charlotte to win. Simply because in Vince's mind, who better to break Asuka's streak than Charlotte Flair, as we have said, the greatest women's champion of all time, and Ric Flair's daughter, who is the record holder for most men's championships of all time. She's genetically superior. That's going to be the person who beats Asuka's streak. I don't want it to be. I think Asuka should lose to somebody who really needs that bump. But who knows? But I think that this match, regardless, is going to be great.
I do too. Like, right now, there are several contenders for headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I would guessing Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, because it's going to be a good match. Crowd's probably going to go home happy no matter what, because if AJ Styles beats Nakamura, don't know that a lot of people are going to be upset. They threw this one on there. I wouldn't be upset. Would not be upset. Last year, we had 13 matches at WrestleMania. I think we have 5 confirmed right now.
Yeah.
This year. And Kevin Owens joked about being rumored for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He really shouldn't be in it unless they're making an effort to make it something. But they've had every chance over the past several years to make it something. They ruined it the first year when they immediately had Cesaro. Like, they ruined his push after that. They tried to make him go with Heyman, and that was a nice spot and everything. But the people wanted to cheer him. He was a babyface. Mm-hmm. They ruined it the next year with Big Show. It just wasn't right. Right. I mean, you could have him win, sure, whatever. And then they had Baron Corbin win. Okay, cool. You were debuting with him, but what happened after that? Nothing. Same with Mojo Rawley. They've taken something that they reinvented in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that was supposed to mean something because it used to just be a pre-show Battle Royal that sometimes didn't even make it onto DVD. Sometimes they didn't even mention on the broadcast. Like, I think Viscera won one time.
Yeah.
For the love of God. Make it mean something. That way these people don't have to feel ashamed to be in it or embarrassed to be in it. That's all I'm saying. 13 matches on the show. Last year, there were 2 matches that went under 9.5 minutes. That was Brock Lesnar Goldberg, which didn't need to go any longer than it did, and the SmackDown Women's Championship, which went 5.5, and that was, you know. So these matches get some time. Mm-hmm. So all these matches, to me, if you're working a WrestleMania match and you're going over 10, 11 minutes, you can go balls to the wall. It's a long show. You can do that, make your match good. I watched Marty Scurll and Punishment Martinez the other night in 10 minutes squeeze in a match that I gave an 8 out of 10, which is really, really high on my scale. You can do cool, special stuff in 10 minutes, and that's what a lot of these people are going to do. And, yeah, WrestleMania on paper, in the ring, this could be a really, really great show. Well, I'll tell you what, in the ring, the WWE Championship match was great, I thought. An amazing match. I took a wild stab at this before and said that this was going to be better than the six-pack challenge at WWF Unforgiven 1999. And it beat it out by a smidge. Styles rocking the powdered blue gear. I see you, Playboy. I see. Everybody's been getting new gear for pay-per-views lately. Like even the Fastlanes of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a mandate or anything like that, but it does certainly seem like they're trying to one-up each other. Becky Lynch had some new gear tonight. Looked like she went to the same gear maker as Seth Rollins. She was straight fire. Yeah. That was interesting.
How did they not team them in the mixed match challenge?
They should, you know.
Well, they're on different brands.
That's true. They can't interact because, as we all know, only one night a year, blah, 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 blah.
Cena hits AAs on everybody but AJ Styles. Quite a way to kick off the match. Styles counters this, and I loved this spot where everybody circles John Cena and then kicks his ass. Because why wouldn't they after that?
Right. Sure.
It made sense. Styles is in the ring, tries to grab everyone with a quick pin, but can't. His moonsault, reverse DDT on Zayn. Chef finger kiss. .gif. Ziggler nails Cena with a great DDT, but KO comes off the top with a bullfrog splash. Zigzag on Corbin. Then he walks into the fiery Cena comeback. He shares a 5-knuckle shuffle. Pause. With Zayn. One of my favorite counters in recent WWE memory. Ziggler counters an AA with a Fame-Asser. That was awesome, Alex.
Yeah, that's almost the exact same counter as when he did that to CM Punk out of a GTS several years ago. That's probably in my top 5 counters all time, and he pulled it out tonight on an AA, and I was like, I popped for that on my couch. Because that's a great. Listen, the whole thing is that as much as I can't stand what they're doing with Dolph as a character, I've always liked him in the ring. Like, I've always thought he could go in the ring. Like, he does steal the show. He is the showstopper. But a record scratch and a whole, like, you guys don't deserve me. I'm giving up this U.S. title. Show up at the Royal Rumble in like 6 weeks, and then I'll get eliminated in 3 minutes. Like, that's not his fault. That's bad writing. But he in the ring can go, and he proved that tonight. Like, his zigzag's always great. There's a lot of stuff that he did in a match tonight that proved he belonged. But his reason for being there didn't make a lot of sense.
You gave him too much credit. He got eliminated in 2 minutes.
There you go.
Corbin has one of the best minutes of his career. This is after a Styles clash and Cena pins broken up. I hate that he does the boss man spot all the time, but KO made it look like $1 million, got turned inside out. And then one of the better deep sixes we've ever seen on Styles. And when Corbin gets a guy who's light, ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. If he let go of him, he might still be spinning. Oh, I'm so glad he didn't invent that move last year because they would have named it the fucking fidget spinner, and you know they would have. And you know Michael Cole or Corey Graves or Byron would have made a reference.
Maybe.
Oh, it's like a fidget spinner. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I am on record as being a closet Baron Corbin fan. I really like the guy in the ring. I think he can go when they let him do something like stuff like this. Like, here, you got a minute and just beat everybody up with crazy stuff. I agree. I understand the people who like the boss man spot, but for me, he's found a perfect counter to being slung into the corner. If his opponents don't throw him into the corner, he can't do that spot. That's a spot that he does because he's figured out how to counter that move. That's fine, whatever. In nights like tonight, where he does it to KO and KO sells it like that, that's great. The deep six, amazing. I love that they decided this is how we're going to get rid of Corbin. We're going to have him chase Ziggler out into the crowd and put him through the hockey glass.
That was cool.
I mean, that was fun. This is I love the spots where they figure out how to get somebody out of it for like 5-10 minutes or permanently for the rest of the match. I love when they figure out the cool spots of doing that.
So that eliminates Ziggler and Corbin essentially. Cena sends Styles to the announcer's table at ringside, and in the ring, Zayn lays down for KO, but KO tries to pick him up. Zayn hits a small package in the process, and then they just start swinging. And this is the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens that we know, that we've seen them go to time after time after time. Zayn backdrops KO on the apron and yells at Shane McMahon at ringside, who's there for some reason. KO accidentally super kicks Shane McMahon, and Zayn capitalizes with a torpedo DDT. Back inside the ring, Ziggler reappears, and KO hits a pop-up powerbomb on him. But Shane McMahon pulls the ref out.
Yep.
Zayn with a haluva kick on KO. Shane McMahon pulls Zayn out. There is no discussion. Shane McMahon is the asshole in this situation.
Oh, 1,000%.
And if so help me God, if I get on this show Tuesday and you've got, who the hell's the lead commentator, Tom Phillips?
Yeah.
You got Tom Phillips making a case for Shane McMahon on commentary, I'm going to snap.
Even Byron Saxton was like, well, I mean, I can understand why he would do that to Kevin Owens, but that's just going too far, a little too far with Sami Zayn. And Byron Saxton, over the course of this ridiculous storyline, has been 1,000% in Shane O'Mac's corner. So if you got Byron Saxton wavering, you must have done some pretty underhanded, devious stuff.
I mean, I pride myself on the people I pick for this podcast. I trained for a long time as a wrestler, and I like to break that down. And I got you, and I got Jeff, and I've had Anna, who have acting experience and comedy experience. They can kind of evaluate the intricacies of developing a character and things like that. And we focus a lot on what makes sense on a wrestling show.
Yeah.
There is no way that you could advocate for Shane McMahon in this situation without being a blind oaf on commentary or whatever it is. Unfortunately, that's often what WWE portrays their commentators, their referees, their officials as.
Right.
So help me God, if we hear Tom Phillips make an argument on commentary on Tuesday, we're getting demonetized within the first 5 minutes of that show. Anna will be there in spirit. So Baron Corbin has stairs, and he beats up everybody with them. Like he acted like it was SmackDown versus Raw 2006, and he was just spamming that shit. John Cena took them away and AAs him on the stairs, and then pins Corbin on the stairs,
which is not a thing.
You can't do that. This isn't a hardcore match.
No.
It's not a Falls Count Anywhere match.
If it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, either Corbin or Ziggler would have won because they would have pinned the other guy out there by just roll over and put an arm on him. He's done.
How can you even have a Falls Count Anywhere 6-man match? You're going to need like at least 5 refs for that. So you have to pin their shoulders in the middle of the ring. Yeah. It's still a thing. Like, there was the time back in the day where in the hardcore match where somebody got pinned on the wall and stuff. That's Falls Count Anywhere. Yeah. Whatever. And I've had people say, well, why do people try to get to the ropes in no DQ matches? Well, because the person doesn't have to break the submission, but they cannot be submitted outside the plane of the ring, because that's like stepping out of bounds and trying to shoot a shot. I mean, it's not going to count. It doesn't work that way. Super kick from Ziggler, an AA to Ziggler, pop-up powerbomb to KO, and then out of nowhere, Styles with a phenomenal forearm for the win. This was an amazing match. Outstanding match. WWE does these types of matches very, very well. I don't know that anybody does them better than WWE does.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because a lot of the build-up, and rightfully so, was the ridiculousness of Shane O'Mac. Because it used to be, God, this feels like literally years ago. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. That was it. A triple threat. And because Shane O'Mac has this ridiculous hatred for Kevin Owens and for Sami Zayn, going back to like pre-Hell in a Cell, like September, he said, no, that gives them an advantage. So I know what I'm going to do to punish them. I'm going to add Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler to the match, and now it's a 5-way, and then they added Cena later. But the whole point of that, what they figured out, was that basically AJ was Shane's guy. But that's not the case, because then you made it harder for AJ. So the whole story leading up to this was that AJ had the odds stacked against him. And when he goes through the table and Corey Graves just like, oh, all of his WrestleMania dreams just went through a table. And we didn't see him again until that springboard, phenomenal forearm, which won it. Like, I thought that was great, that like he was out. There was no chance of him doing that until he hits one move at the end and wins it. Like, that was a really great build for this match, for this particular spot to happen. But it must be said, what the hell are they doing with this Shane and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn thing? Because even if you and I are like, this guy's the asshole, right? He's the biggest heel in the company.
He should be.
But you know damn well we're going to get Shane O'Mac chance from these idiots at SmackDown.
What would you do if, like, in the AFC conference game, like, there's a field goal to win it, and Roger Goodell runs out on the field and blocks that thing?
Yeah, this would be great. If Roger Goodell,
that's a skit. That's a listen your boy intro right there.
It is. Yeah, if Roger Goodell runs out and blocks the Patriots kicker from kicking the field goal to win because he just hates Tom Brady so much, and screw you, Bob Kraft. Or he hates the Cowboys now. Every owner thinks that Goodell hates them the most. So that's fine. Listen, there
are a few more parallels than I would like to admit in that regard, true. I guess.
I'm all for Shane O'Mac being the authority figure who's this heel who screws over everybody. But then you have to really go for it in that way. Like, then you got to find a guy who is the baby face who goes against that. Like, who does he fight against? And you're also presenting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as these big heels who are a-holes, who can't get along, who, so you know what I mean? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm fine with it, but like, it appears to me that you were getting, like, from the stare down near the end of this, it appears to me we're getting some version of another triple threat to me. of Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at Mania, which would bring a close to this ridiculous, 6-month story that they've been building since Hell in a Cell. At least it wouldn't be the terrible rumored Dolph Ziggler versus Shane McMahon thing that came out this week that somebody was saying. At least it wouldn't be that, because that would be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll throw that together in the last 3 weeks. Like, it would be so SmackDown to try and pull something like that out for Mania. At least they're not abandoning this thing they've been ruining SmackDown with for 6 months.
Yeah. Guys, head over to Fightful.com. I have my match ratings and podcast notes. I also do those for Raw, SmackDown, do them for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, do them for every major pay-per-view, NXT, stuff like that. If this is your first time checking us out, we do post Raw, post SmackDown shows. We have our flagship wrestling show on Wednesdays. Myself and the owner of Fightful.com, Jimmy Van, very successful businessman, talk wrestling, have a guest, talk some of the dumber news stories of the week. It is definitely an even more loose show, which you wouldn't expect, but it is. Also, we have tons of MMA podcasts, post shows. Quiet MMA month this month, heading into WrestleMania weekend. That's going to be psycho. I think I'm doing 3 shows the night before WrestleMania. Hot dog. They just had to do it. Why'd they do that, Alex?
I don't know, man.
Why couldn't have Ring of Honor ran Friday during the Hall of Fame?
What I was told, somebody tweeted at me, and I don't know if this is the case, that for a while, WWE had NXT on Friday. And so they said, or Ring of Honor said, okay, then we'll do Saturday.
Yeah.
And then some people are saying on purpose to screw over Ring of Honor, WWE switched it and put NXT on Saturday.
That wouldn't surprise me, because I think the Hall of Fame and NXT are in the same venue, yeah?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to be speaking to a lot of people who are running shows, who are doing WrestleMania shows, WrestleMania weekend shows. So you all can hear those guests on the Listen You Boy. I'm going to go in depth with them on like what the process is like in running shows like this, how far out you have to plan, how do you book talent. There are so many different shows going on. What if you miss out on a talent? Lots of cool stuff there. Now, Alex always has Off the Track with A-Train articles that are a lot of fun to read. He covers the lighter side of wrestling. But you can go to Fightful.com and get all the wrestling content you need. We don't make you click on like 5 or 6 different articles with one little video in it. We put those in our fight size updates in the morning and the evening. That way you can get all the lesser news, the unimportant news, all in one while we cover the bigger stories. And we have a ton of exclusives. There aren't a lot of websites that will bring you more exclusive content than Fightful.com. So definitely give us a try if you haven't. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. Alex, what do you got going on?
I don't know. We'll see what crazy, stupid stuff happens this week. I'll tell you what I have going on Tuesday night is more 205 Live. It continues to be the most compelling show on WWE right now for me. I'm looking forward to these next 2 semifinal matches and the final at Mania so much, because there's so many things I can do with it. And I'm counting down until NXT TakeOver. No spoilers here. You can find them out there. But from the last taping, the direction they're going with a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm so excited for that, for NXT TakeOver in New Orleans. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. That show is looking like it is on fire.
Yeah.
Really excited for EC3 to appear on Impact and to win the briefcase for the North American Championship match in NXT.
Yeah.
Going to be great. My God. Oh, wow. Well, this is breaking news. WWE star Jeff Hardy arrested Saturday evening, driving while impaired in Cameron County, North Carolina. We will definitely be writing up a story on that, and we will follow up and talk about that on tomorrow night's Raw podcast. Head over, guys. Fightful.com. Thank you. We're out.